This happened while you were sleeping.
Okay, this happened while you were sleeping.
This happened while you were sleeping.
This happened while you were sleeping.
And this is what happened while you were sleeping. I don't like that.
Well, I'm not a crook.
No, sir. It does not. Not wittingly.
Ceremonial signing of the agreement, and you see it there.
Episode, we're going to get into the Syrian issue. If you're looking at the news, if you at all paying attention to current events, the whole world is watching Syria. They've been having a civil war for around 2 years now, fighting between the Bashar al-Assad government and the rebels. The West has been supporting the rebels recently, giving them support, not through military action as of yet, but we've been supporting them through weapons, money, aid. More recently, in the last few weeks, they've accused chemical weapons of being used, which was a red line that was set by the Obama administration.
It absolutely clear to Assad and those under his command, the world is watching. The use of chemical weapons is and would be totally unacceptable.
One of the first things I noticed is the fact that a lot of people are not really aware of what's going on in Syria. I feel like as Americans, we're not as informed as we need to be. This could actually trickle over into a wider war because Syria is involved with Iran. They have a mutual defense agreement where if Syria gets attacked, Iran's going to jump in. Russia is largely connected with Iran and Syria. China is also on the same side, so it's just a lot of things at play here. What about Nelly's involvement? Drop down and got his eagle on.
No, Nelly he's heavily supportive of Syria. Yeah, he's in a commercial with Honey Nut Syria, and like the bee, like he blings out the bee.
What is that?
You mean my honey wand?
No. Get rid of it. Come on, matter of fact.
Shoes, shades. Wow.
Now, that voice.
My voice? What's wrong with my voice?
Yeah, man. B got swag.
Oh, Honey Nut Syria.
Yeah, Honey Nut Syria.
Like milk and Syria.
Syria. Yeah, Honey Nut Syria.
I was talking about the country Syria. One thing I wanted to discuss and kind of just, get people thinking about is
I don't know, because a lot of times the government, has a lot with them, but I don't even know about that. Because the government has a lot with them, so.
I just going along with the United States going along with.
To answer that question, we're playing both sides. We're killing off just a mass number on either way you look at it. So we're taking a life regardless of what answer I give here. Whatever decision we choose to make, we're taking lives with that, and I don't agree we should be taking lives. No, I do not.
West with capitalism, it sounds like a win-win.
I don't feel like I know enough about it to say, but I feel like it is what we do, so.
That is true.
Well, honestly, just in the last few weeks, America admitted to being involved with the Iran coup of 1953.
We've been fighting the Iranians since 1953. We overthrew their government through the CIA in 1953. We were allies with Saddam Hussein in the 1980s, and we encouraged him to invade.
All right, so I just want to get there. We don't need a history lesson, but I do want to get this on the record.
You have to understand.
I do understand the region, man, but we don't have time to do the history lesson tonight. I just want to get this on the record.
Definitely out there before that, but now I guess 60 years after the event, they're willing to say, hey, we did do that. So that goes on to explain what might have led to the hostage situation in 79. But I don't feel like we should support either the government or the rebels over there, because essentially there's no good guys. Bashar al-Assad, even though I feel like the media is spewing all information towards him, I don't support him. We're like knocking on World War III's door about to kick the door down. Like, that's where we at.
As we record this right now, I think Obama just called for a meeting in Congress to have a vote to whether we should go to war with them or not.
And by the time this comes out, we isolate on this fact here. Britain, they just had, parliamentary vote.
Get it out. Get it together now.
Yeah.
Parliamentary.
Parliament in Britain, they just had a vote on whether to go to war or not. Every time Britain presidents come to their country and say, hey, we need to go to war.
Prime Minister.
I agree, Prime Minister. Yeah. Britain Prime Ministers come and they say, we want to go to war. Since 1860-something, they've always went to war behind the president. In his opinion,
Prime Minister.
In his opinions on when it's time to go to war. This time they said, no, David Cameron, you're on your own, which is huge. Got a lot of implications.
It's kind of funny because, like, in my mind, what I picture is like that scene from Jerry Maguire. Like, he goes up in the parliament. It's like, we're going to war. Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me?
They said, nah, we're not going with you.
Renee Zellweger went though.
That being said, one question we were asking people as well, under what circumstances would you support American involvement?
I feel like I need to be more informed on these things, but I just don't care enough.
Basically, if they came at us first. A lot of other countries do come at us first usually, but yeah, if they came at us first, then there'd be a lot of reasons for us to go,
Yeah, definitely.
under false pretense.
I guess if they're harming their citizens a lot,
Okay.
and it's morally we should step in to help the innocent.
To say, under a circumstance of which I would deem it acceptable for us to enter a country such as Syria, example here would be that we weren't already pre-engaged in politics with this country, and we weren't already pre-engaged in our own agenda with this country over oil, and that we had an attack on our country that didn't involve something we had already done in their country or to their people. As when we're attacking Syria, if you know anything about Syria, it is not just the Syrian people that are there. You're talking of people from the Middle East in general. So we're not just attacking one country, we're attacking an ideology, we're attacking a belief system that cannot be defeated by man's power of weapons. That this is something we don't need to be involved in whatsoever. Absolutely not. I don't think that unless they were to come over here and drop a bomb in the middle of DC, and I believe that would be the only reason that we would have justification to go over there and do anything.
I feel like we shouldn't get involved if it was like if we really, was trying to strive for peace or something like that, but being that, we ain't really focused on peace, so we're really thinking about, like I said, capitalism, we should get involved because we can aid them in killing themselves off. I guess we'll have more land and probably be able to, generate more revenue for us, lower some of our taxes.
I feel like if there's a situation like World War II, like with the Holocaust stuff, like if there's a country that's killing millions of people, or even not even millions, but like it's genocide going on, then yeah, we can intervene, clear things up to that extent. You know what I mean? But even in World War II, like if you do the history of all these wars we've had, there's always one thing in there, a false flag that initiates the war, right?
It's like they've made the decision to go to this war, and they're just need to make the evidence to bring us along.
Yeah. So I don't believe, like I said earlier, I don't think that we should be on either side. And like I said, the limit of when we intervene is when there is just absolute evil.
See, me personally, not too keen on supporting us getting involved anywhere. We're not the world police. We can't afford to be the world police, and we're too crooked to be the world police. Quite honestly.
Yeah, the people, it's like a quote from one of my favorite songs. I love the place I live, but I hate the people in charge.
Go, that's deep. Deep, bro. So what do you feel like this is going to lead to? Like, we always close our eyes and jump into a war, and we say, oh, we're here now. We got to do what we got to do. Like with Iraq and all these wars of late, we just, we rush into war. Then we get there and say, hey, since we've been in the war, we got to stay in the war and protect them for the next 10 years and make sure they don't go crazy over there. So, like, what do you think could happen from this?
The United States decided to take action. that will probably make the United States and people in the United States a lot safer.
I feel like I'm not sure exactly what it can lead to, but I'm sure whatever it does lead to, being that we're doing it over there, you know, the cause and effect is happening over there. So I feel like, you know, whatever repercussions there is to face will be, you know, faced over there. You know, if it has to be, you know, with their rebels, they're, you know, we'll lead their rebels to deal with the mess, you know, because we're helping them with their plan, you know, as it seems that, you know, as we're going over there, you know, with the front, like we helping the rebels with their plan of action. So if their plan of action has a domino effect, you know, the last domino will be them that it has to fall on.
The use of U.S. force, as you've seen in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Libya, in these countries, leads to pissing more people off. You're killing women, you're killing children, you're destroying people who are simply just going to raise up hating the United States. You're not preventing a problem, you're creating a problem that's everlasting. A problem that until you step away for a couple of generations, for people to forget about what you're doing, you're going to continuously have people to stand up and fight against tyranny that's happening in their country. And us here in America, we don't see it because we live with Chick-fil-A and Cracker Barrel and the freedom to do this, and we don't ever get attacked on our homeland. But I promise you, the moment that it happens on our homeland, then I think people might start to wake up and understand a little bit.
It leads to a lot of people disliking us, and we can create some enemies.
What I think is going to happen from this is going to lead to us having to stay shit out there. Like, you know, once you start a war, it's never over. You know what I'm saying? It's never that you can just automatically, like, all right, we won, let's go home. You know what I mean? Those days are dead. There's no more parades in the street for all the troops coming home. You know what I mean? That's not happening. We're going to be stationed out there for indefinitely. You know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you one thing. I think this whole thing has been brought about because of the plummeting value of the dollar. We're about to go into a financial crisis. And whenever there's a financial crisis popping off, what's a good way to jumpstart that? Let's get this war money. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's get that popping. Let's fill our coffers with the riches of the unlucky. It's not looking good for us, man. It looks like that they're really about to make this happen. It's going to happen. And it's going to lead to a lot of things, man. Like I said, you know, Russia is involved. They're on the opposite side of us. It looks like Britain, their people are not with this latest endeavor of America to, you know, jump into war again. We've lied to the world before. We told people that there was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, that the whole world, or a large part of the, you know, the West world was rolling with us and believing us. You know, and then with the Snowden thing popping up, NSA people already not liking us. You're kind of skeptical. You know what I mean? This might be the thing that opens the doors for everyone to attack us. Yeah. Because, you know, Russia and Britain, all them, they have the capabilities to bring war to our shores. You know, the president of Syria right now is hiding in Iran. Like, does that mean we're going to go to Iran? We want to. We want to anyway. It's almost like America is a bully. Because, like, you've seen us picking fights with North Korea, picking fights with Iran. You're like, oh, we can't beat them right now. Syria, the little kid on the bus with the helmet on. You know what I'm saying? Let's, you know what I mean? Hey, Syria. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, we really want that war with Iran. It seems like we're picking on a person that they would have to defend. Mm-hmm. So they have agreements where they have to defend them. So we don't have as much public support as I think that they would like for us to go to war with Iran directly. Mm-hmm. So we trumping up this new cause of saving people in Syria, like we saved the people of Libya, like we saved the people of Iraq by killing them. Mm. We got this weird line that if we, you know, step in and throw missils, we'll fix your problem. Fix it. We kill them. Oh, there's no more problem. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't work in Iraq. We're still over there. It didn't work in Afghanistan. We're still over there. Less than 10 years ago, yeah. Like, we haven't learned from these mistakes that we're still living through. I don't know, man. If you still accepting whatever they tell you, man, you got to go play Call of Duty, man. Go play Grand Theft Auto, man, because you lost. You got to really rethink. You ain't no gangster. You just another lost nigga. One last topic I kind of want to touch on. What's that, man? It's you know, how the media has been covering this ever so important issue. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. I think that when you look at Fox News or CNN or BBC, or you look at any of these and you go back to the person who runs these organizations and you look at their friends and how tied up in politics these people are, and then you go and you find out that their best friends are also tied up in the banking industry, and it all goes back to money. If it's not bringing money, they're not going to report on it. If it's not a part of their agenda, they're not going to report on it. You only get one side of the story, and you'll never get the honest truth, as it's an opinion-based factor. You never get the raw truth, and that's the problem today.
Well, a lot of times, you know, most news stations do kind of, you know, tell both sides. Of course, they're going to lean against the U.S. because we're in the U.S.
I feel like, you know, they reporting nothing more than what they want us to know, or, you know, nothing more than what they don't mind us knowing. So, you know, I guess we'll never know, you know, for a fact the actual, you know, reason behind everything. But if we're reporting it at all, you know, they do have some, you know, pros and cons for us, and I guess they, you know, just reported to give us those pros and cons to discuss and, you know, keep us occupied, so we don't really worry about what, you know, the main reason really is.
Being a retired law enforcement officer, the one thing I listen to is right and wrong.
Like, the thing about it is, you know, people are so disconnected at this point. We don't really read newspapers, and if we did, the same people control the major media.
It's like three companies. What does Rupert Murdoch have to say about this?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So we're uninformed. We don't really get international news. Like you said, it's about 5 companies or so that feeds all the information, not all, but almost all of the information to the American people. So if anybody ever was in control of these handful of companies, they can control just about all the information that we have to even debate issues like this. So the cards are stacked against us. The deck has been tricked up. It's not an even game. So that the media largely is on the side of American opinions.
U.S. intelligence agencies are preparing to release a report said to outline evidence that Syria's government did indeed use chemical weapons to slaughter its own citizens.
And of course, this is not the first time the United States violates the international system through the United Nations. It has repeatedly ignored the existence of an international system.
What are the risks for the Americans, for the Syrians, and for the whole region if they do decide to go ahead and attack?
More hatred for the Americans, more weakening of international institutions. Terrorism will flourish everywhere. This will undermine the security of Americans inside and outside their country. Al-Qaeda is there. Any attack against Syria is support of Al-Qaeda and its affiliates.
I'm willing to take it this far. As I said, I want negotiations to start, and if we are the ones who bring about the negotiations, that gives us a much stronger hand at those talks to diminish the position of al-Nusra and the al-Qaeda affiliates. But I am not confident that we can keep weapons out of their hands, but I believe that by us playing a major role in getting the talks going, we will have much more control over the al-Qaeda elements in the rebel forces.
One of the areas helping them out right now are the Russians, because another Russian ship has shown up here, and this one's important. Why?
Yeah, this is an intelligence collector. It's pretty much state-of-the-art. They've detached it from the Black Sea Fleet. They brought it down into the Mediterranean. It's got the complete outfit of sensors. It's got ability to monitor radars, communications. It's got its own sonar system. It can effectively track the U.S. movements in the Eastern Mediterranean.
So it would know the moment a missile launched.
How do you feel that the media has been kind of covering this issue, or...
The media is doing what the media does. You know what I mean? Whether it's CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, they have an agenda that they are set to play. But you know what I mean? Like, they doing what they do. This is their job. Ever since probably about after the 60s, there's no more free media. There's no more, you can't just say what you want to say in the media no more, because the media is now afraid of the government.
Yeah, and we've seen that they can actually take it to the worst levels of lying and deception. Like, there was some footage of CNN reporting on the first Iraq war, where they were acting like they were over there in Iraq, and They had a little siren going off. They threw their helmets on, and they were in a studio.
Look at this.
Look
Look at this. Look at this shit. Look at.
Believe that. Let me say hi.
The top 10 things about Saudi Arabia. Maybe we could shorten the list to 5.
Oh God, Geopolitics by Dan Quayle.
Je suis un journaliste américain. Oh, I love this country so much.
It's crazy, man. If they were doing that in the early 1990s, technology has only gotten better. The level of deception could have increased greatly. The media skewing this information. You don't want to just look at CNN or look at Fox, look at MSNBC, and just take that information and say, hey, this is what's going on. Like earlier this year, the rebels were found to be guilty based on evidence. The UN did an investigation of an attack that happened around March of this year, and they said the evidence pointed towards the rebels using chemical weapons. Like earlier when this first happened, there were some calls for, hey, they use chemical weapons, the government's bad. The UN goes in and investigates, and they see that the rebels were using it. So the president's been set. They must have the means to do this, and they have the reason. We're backing them.
And they're using the weapon that we set a red line against. So, in all logical sense, we should be beefing with them. Because
we should. But it almost looks like we gave them the alley-oop. Last year, around December, Obama says, hey, the red line is set. If the government ever uses chemical weapons, we're getting involved. The rebels been begging us to get involved. Next thing you know, you're basically saying, hey, won't you act like it's chemical weapons used and we'll get involved. Basically threw them the alley-oop. Just dunking it now. So, being that they've already used chemical weapons, and, now we have a case where the UN comes in. The day they come in, chemical weapons happen. Who wins? What does the government of Syria have to gain from using the chemical weapons when the UN inspectors are roaming around your country? They have nothing to gain. The rebels gain support, which is what they've been begging for. They would love for the world to jump in on their side so they can topple that regime. We want to topple that regime. We have publicly stated as a nation, we want that government to fall. We want that work. We want that government to fall. No wonder we jump out the gate and say, hey, yeah, they use chemical weapons and we got to get in. This is what happened while you were sleeping. While you was asleep in the bed, what? The discussion started. What? So get out, get out of bed.
I like it.
And get involved, man.
Yeah, man.
Get involved in the discussion, man. Comment down here. Let us know what you're thinking. You ain't got to agree with us. We don't want to create a whole group of people who agree. We don't want yes men. We want people that's thinking, that's looking beyond just the mainstream media and thinking. Hit us up. Where we hit them up at?
You can hit me up at...
Where you gonna put it?
I'm gonna put it right here. I ain't gonna put it over your face. I ain't doing you like that.
Man. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna put it right here. At the MF is Sun King, you know what I'm saying? You can hit him up at just, like he said, the comment section.
Right here on this page.
On the page. We're all open forum of discussion.
Anything.
We are here for you.
Alright. We out.
Peace.
I think that as Americans, we have a duty to speak and to talk to the people that are in power and really express to them what we are feeling, this discontent that America is screaming. And you have Obama saying that until the American people tell me, well, the American people are trying to tell you, but your news outlets won't let you hear it. When I go and comment on CNN and I try and post something, let's say Syria is the entrance to Iran. Prime example, last night my comment was deleted probably over 10 times. I kept posting Syria is the entrance to Iran. Well, that doesn't fit CNN's agenda, so my comment was deleted. I think until people are able to stand up and speak for themselves and stop letting the media speak for them, that we are rapidly moving into oppression, and it's to a point where it's too late, to be completely honest. And until people, like I was saying earlier, those who gather in peace need to gather as effectively as those who gather in times of war. Quote Martin Luther King Jr. Until that is able to happen, we will see no change, and we will see constant oppression as money is the ruler and money will forever be the root of our issues. Greed, greed, greed. Until we can get into the Federal Reserve and we can have audits on the Federal Reserve and we can get on top of our currency, and until we can get money out of politics, we are forever doomed here. And our right for me to be able to sit here and speak to you like I'm doing right now is constantly, daily being stripped out from under our feet. So, you know, that's how I feel at this moment in time.
16-bar breakdown.
16. So I was compelled to compile the most vigorous of thoughts and the angst of the agony we thought would not. The fortune bestowed in a long list of trials would deliver my meanings in spite of my style. Conveyed it came amongst the era, as if from the mouth of the ancient chimera, the words to adhere to and as if to follow, but as if time were irrelevant, they still stand hollow. Not focused on the lines between, we miss the importance of that not seen. So listen now, and with much haste, these words are vital and not of waste. Our world, it runs a precious course, conflicted and nourished by labor force. When numbers are up, our spirits rejoice, but as quickly they drop, and we have no choice to lean upon the teachings of fate, for it is at that moment that we are too late. Consumption arrives in a fog-laced stove, our minds now altered and you didn't even know. So do not be consumed by the words cloaked in shadow. There was light you will find, but a path that lay narrow. Now hold on to the truth and do not go astray, for the time is amongst us, it is almost that day.
Bars.